Hello? Hello? Mom? Oh no. Oh no. Not good, y'all. I'm in LA again. I'm flying out tonight at like midnight. Thank you, Haley, Chewy, Lexi, Rune. I appreciate you guys. Looking tan, a little burnt. I'll tell you that much. I'm listening to the Angela MJ conversation. I think Angela's playing it pretty well, actually. She's very much like reacting to this news that Leah's a traitor. Not that she has to do very much, but she's doing an alright job. Thank you, Indy, for the sub. Did you predict that Angela would survive this? I predicted this exact. Do you guys listen to my live feed update last week? I think I predicted this exact week. Like, I'm gonna clip it of everyone saying we're gonna target Angela, but really what they mean is it's going to be Leah, and when Leah's on the block, I'll be able to see that everyone was lying, and that while no one's talking about targeting Leah next week, everyone's gonna fucking target Leah next week. Thank you, Indy. Who does everyone target in the double eviction? I think everyone in the house might target MJ. I think Cam might be an exception. I don't think Cam would do it himself, but even that is a little dicey. Thank you, Indow. I appreciate you. It's just we're just watching cope right now between for MJ because what's so frustrating about this move from MJ is she knows it was not the right move for her. Like she knows it deep down, she really does, and it just doesn't matter. Do you think MJ would make these choices if more familiar with the show? I don't know. Probably not, but maybe it's familiarity with the show helps you in like the structure. Like Quinn was nominating his allies as a super fan. Like, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate you. Jag would be a better winner than anyone left in the house. I think Chelsie is a lot better than Jag. We're gonna rank Chelsea's game because here's the thing: Chelsea hasn't won yet. There's a lot of ways she can lose, but I think we all can get the sense of if she wins, what her game is gonna be like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she could play a very masterful game towards the end. She can't play a very bad game. Like, if she gets to the end, she's going to get there how we'd expect. Like, she set herself up very, very well. And the thing about Chelsie is, can she get someone to choose to lose against her? I think she can get MJ to choose to lose against her, or MJ will be delusional and think she can win. But I think Cam would cut her if he knows he's going to lose. Chemo and Rabina, not sure. Chelsea hasn't been evicted either. It definitely is part of the equation. I think Chemo would cut her. I think Chemo is gonna throw the competitions. Not because he like thinks it's a smart strategic move, just because he'd rather be sitting than playing the comps. But Chelsea get Vanessa'd. I'll tell you what, whoever Vanessa's Chelsea is not as good as Steve. And I've been like an ardent Cam low key supporter this season. Cam, if Cam was not like a 6'3" athlete, we would think of him as Bowie Jane. Using the AirPods mic? I don't think I am. I'm definitely not using the AirPods mic. I am using it. One second. All right, hello. 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 We're good. We are good. The audio is better now, I assume? Should be. A dog 956. What's up? No more microwave. It's a bummer. Here's what I'll say about Chelsea's game. I think we're always going to look at newer winners as worse than they actually are because we had a front row seat to all their mistakes. Like, if we were to compare Maggie to Chelsie right now, do you guys feel confident that you can tear apart Maggie's game in the same way you can Chelsea's? Because I think we all remember Maggie as playing this pretty flawless game. You know, she might have lost to April, but she was kind of running a cult, that kind of thing. Can America stream next time she plays Goose Goose Duck? She likes playing on her phone. Our feeds haven't been working. What do you mean? They've been working for me, so it's not the account. Not sure. Why is MJ so incredibly easy to manipulate? MJ has the unfortunate combination of delusional and weirdly loyal. It's a really bad combo to have. Also, I think the women of faith thing doesn't help. Am I on your account? Yes. Does that not help? Is that fucking you over? Do you want me to quit out? I'll quit out. Try doing it now. I think Chelsie has played a pretty amazing game overall. I mean, here's the problem with Chelsea's game, and this is no, discredit to her. She's just on a really rough cast, where I have to ask, who's the second best player, again? If we did a top 10 of players from the past 3 seasons, are there 2 people from BB26? Chelsie would be high on that list. She could be number 1, honestly. I think that's a very fine opinion. But out of that next 9, I think you'd probably put, in some order, Matt, Jag, myself, Taylor, Kyle, maybe even Monty, Suri. I already said Suri. You know what I mean? T-Core. I think T-Core is not close to number 2. Michael, of course. I think Brooklyn's the second best player. I really do. I don't think there's anyone else I would even... I think Leah is the next closest. I think I would do Chelsie and then Brooklyn and Leah in some order, but... You know, it's not on her. She can't fix that. Jag was voted out, though. Y'all, stop. I'm talking about top 10 players from the past 3 seasons. If Jag's not on your list, you're delusional. I'm not making the Jag is good case again today, but let's be real. People will respect me with this move. I think Quinn is going to... I think MJ has done the Bowie Jane today, where she locked herself out of a winning outcome. I think she's killed herself jury-wise. I think there's nothing she can do. I think Quinn and Leah are lost causes. And then, obviously, if she's next to Kimo and Rabina, she loses those 2 votes. If she's next to Chelsie, no chance. I think if she's next to Angela, she loses at this point. I think that. I think everyone views this... every single player this week, except for Angela and Leah, have been playing MJ. And they know they've been playing MJ, and they know MJ's been being played. The only other person who's not playing MJ is Kimo. MJ goes to Kimo and is like, I'm thinking of using the veto on you. And Kimo's like, why? What do you... Please no. Stop. I disagree, Jess, with the Derek point. I think season 16 was a pretty strong cast. It was just a really terrible set of twists, and it was really inequitable comps. That's the way I view BB16. The nature of Battle of the Block and the fact that they aligned with every comp beast just made the season terrible. But that season had, Like, okay, who on this season, putting aside Chelsie, who on BB16 do I think is better than any player from BB26? Frankie, 1,000,000%. Cody, 1,000,000%. Nicole, 1,000,000%. Christine, it's on the edge. You know what I mean? Donnie, on the edge. Like, there's not Christine. Look, I think Christine's right in the mix with all these people. Take 16 Nicole solely, and yeah, but that's not... Like, obviously, Nicole was a fan of the game and had a lot of potential in Season 16 because she went on to get first and third. You don't, retroactively say Derek beat a winner, but Nicole was a more than competent player, which puts her far enough to be better than a lot of these 26 players. I would say all of them. I would not say Caleb. I think Caleb is maybe the closest analog in Big Brother history to Mackenzie. I like that comparison a lot. I think they're very similar. Minus the weird stuff. Vanderbilt's kind of good, and I don't think Bama's that good. I think we actually have a shot of keeping it somewhat respectable. And here's the thing. I don't want me poo-pooing the rest of the cast to make me sound like I'm discrediting what Chelsea's done. It's not easy running a season like this. I think my main criticism of Chelsie is, a lot of the things that she did well, I think she actually did pretty poorly. I think most people credit her with getting Mackenzie as her minion, right? That was probably her best move of the game. The pivotal moment was evicting Tucker, but getting Mackenzie is one of, her biggest, most important moves. But I remember the criticism for the first 5 weeks of the season is, why does Chelsie hate MJ and keep shit-talking MJ and pushing MJ away? You know? That was literally the only piece of criticism we had. It's Chelsie is alienating MJ and Leah for no fucking reason. And she got there eventually, but I'm not going to give it the same credit as I would if... I feel like the other greats of the game would have done that immediately. I think Chelsie has a lot of bad instincts that she's gotten away with on this cast. What I find a lot more interesting than rating individual players is rating individual games. Because the truth is, Dr. Will could go on most seasons these days and he would have no shot, even as a new player. His strategy is outdated. Dan would flop on a lot of seasons. I think we have to judge resumes as opposed to simulate 1,000,000 seasons kind of vibes. Because it's so cast dependent, twist dependent, comp dependent. I think you have to just judge what we've seen. And Chelsie has a really good game, but I don't think she would do as well on returns. And you could just tell how frustrating it is for Leah, because we're watching MJ talk to Angela, and every single anti-MJ thing that she's saying Leah said, every piece of ammo, she's like, look, Leah was doing this, this, and this. She goes, Chelsie told me, or she said this to Chelsie, or it's so transparent from the outside, and it's just I think it's kind of transparent from the inside too, and everyone knows it except MJ. It's just annoying. Her whole alliance got blindsided, and she got back into a dominant position. So again, I think she did a great job. I don't want this to come off as Chelsie hate. I'm very high on Chelsea's game. I think I'm gonna rank her against the winners later, and I'm trying to figure out where I think she is. But the house flipped on her, but the other side of the house was T-Core, Chemo, and Rabina, and they are just useless. They're just useless in the game, and it just allowed Chelsie to Here's what I'll say. On BB25, it was extremely, extremely difficult for people on the bottom to flip the house against Suri, Izzy, and Felicia. I was never on the bottom like that, but okay, eventually it happened. It was a lot of effort. And then with Jag and Matt and them on the top, it was extremely difficult to get from that position to higher up. Part of that is comps. Part of that is because I think, and this is going to sound crazy, I think there are a lot of players on BB25 who just wouldn't let this happen. Like, our social structures were so much stronger than they were in BB26. The alliances in BB26 are just not the same. So I think in terms of, like, flipping your position from the worst to the best, BB26 allows it in a way of, like, imagine trying to better your position like that in BB23 or 22 or 21. Cliff did a really admirable job. But, like, that shit is nearly impossible. And whether you want to say that's due to Chelsea's brilliance or the cast, it's probably both. Let's be real. Like, it's just a more fluid season, so it allows that kind of maneuvering in a way that other seasons just would not allow. And part of why it's fluid is because Chelsie refused to, like, get her chokehold on the game. And she's got it now, which is good, but it, I feel like a lot of these, like, dominant winners you see, like, have a chokehold over the game from, like, pre-jury. Chelsie has to thank Brooklyn for getting MJ? I don't think so. I'll give her credit for that. It was just she did it later than I think we all wish she would have. Chelsie would be a lower tier winner, right? I don't think she'd be a lower tier winner. You want me to do the... All right, let me do a Big Brother winner tier list right now and think about where I'd put Chelsie. I'll share my screen. Oh my god. What's up, y'all? Hello. Sorry, I gotta create a scene. There's crazy echo. All right, let me cook for a second. Let me cook for a second. You're finally going to have an eventful live feed update? I guess. Sorry, I'm trying to do this artfully. Okay, so you guys could see it, right? You guys could see it, I believe. All right, let me get this ready. Sorry, this is a very, very, very scuffed setup. All right, we're here. Okay, let's just go through the obvious ones. Who is better than Chelsie? And it's not a debate. Okay, let's start with my order. So Dan Giesling is better than Chelsie. Cody is better than Chelsie. Derek is better than Chelsie. His game was way more flawless than Chelsea's. I think you could argue the format helped him a lot. But he also had a much stronger cast, in my opinion, so he's definitely better. Dr. Will is much better than Chelsie. Andy is much better than Chelsie. These are all non-negotiables for me. It's not close. It isn't close. Who's obviously worse than Chelsie? Evil Dick is worse than Chelsie. Jag is worse than Chelsie. I think Taylor is worse than Chelsie. I think Mickey is worse than Chelsie. I think Josh is worse than Chelsie. I'm not going to rank Morgan. Ian is worse than Chelsie. Rachel is worse than Chelsie. Jordan, Jasinski, Adam Jasinski. I said Jelinski. Boogie, I'll hold off for now, but she's probably better. She's better than Lisa. And she's better than Eddie, sure. Okay. So these are the obvious ones to me. So this already places her in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. She's already a top 15 winner, y'all. Already a top 15 winner. Okay. I'll say she's better than Boogie. I'll give her that. I would say Hayden is better than Chelsie. I would say Chelsea's better than Xavier, better than Casey, better than Drew, of course, worse than June. Maggie is a very close analog for me. I think she's very close. I think Steve... I love Steve's game. I think it's pretty close. I think Nicole... I think honestly, I would do like this. I think I'd have her here. I'm a big defender of Nicole's Big Brother game. I think Nicole did a great job in 18. I'm a big fan of it. I don't think she had as much control over the game, but I think she had a really, really difficult game to navigate. I think she did a really good job. She also had a strong cast. Obviously, if you're just grading players, Nicole's better than Chelsie, but in terms of, like, their games, I like Nicole's more. I think the BB18 cast was very, very strong. And the BB26 cast is historically weak. Chelsie just said veto is more important than HOH. At this point in the season, it is. From the final 7, final 6 on, veto is more important. I agree with that. Anytime before that, it's all about HOH. But especially, like, I agree. Any chance Chelsie loses to a bitter jury? No, I think people are going to be bitter at the people who allowed Chelsie to win. Like, we were more bitter at Bowie Jane than we were at Jag. Because it's like, Bowie, why'd you hand the game to Jag? You know, I think people are going to be like, Mackenzie, why'd you hand the game to Chelsie? That's where the bitterness will play in. Does Cody still win if Casey and Josh weren't replaced by Xmas and... It would have been Cody versus Tyler, and if Tyler quit, I still think Cody wins. Yeah. Do I think this is the weakest cast ever? No. I think Big Brother 9 is probably the weakest cast ever. Big Brother 2 is weird. How do you evaluate that? I think Big Brother 8 is pretty weak, but Eric carries it. Big Brother 11 is pretty terrible. 13 is pretty terrible, despite all the returning players. 19 is horrible. Like, there's a lot of bad ones. It's up there, though. JPR, thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. I don't think 21 is the weakest. Very messy, but, you know, I think there's a lot of mid players there. Leah might poison the jury by telling T-Core. I think you guys overestimate the amount of, like... I don't think T-Core... Like, T-Core is not going to, like, be campaigning like that or, like, talking game that much, I think. You know what I mean? It's not... She's not giving me those vibes. I've never seen so many sheep in my life. That's not true. I don't think Rabina and Chemo are even, like, Chelsea's sheep. I think they're just not playing at all. And they're definitely loyal to Chelsie when they shouldn't be, so maybe they're a sheep. But BB19 had a lot more sheep than BB26. And here's the difference, right? Like, I think in BB19 and BB16, Derek or Paul were putting in so much work to create these fake power structures where people thought they were safe. You know what I mean? Let me fix this. So, by the way, based on my tier list, I have Chelsie as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd have her at the back half of my top 10 winners. I would probably Steve, her, and Maggie are my group. So what I was saying was, no, I have to stretch the screen. Sorry, fit. No, I hate that. I'm sorry, it's a very scuffed setup. We'll be back at my my stream tomorrow. Chelsie would go down as the best female BB winner. I don't think so. I think she'd be third. I think June and Nicole beat her. So what I was saying is, when it comes to Chelsie, I think she's done a lot less work in maintaining her power structure, mostly because this season isn't one that has definitive power structures. Like, I think some stuff has fallen into her lap. The T-Core relationship, I think she did a good job of building her bond with T-Core. But I do think T-Core just wanted to work with Chelsie really hard, and then when she left, telling Rabina and Kibo to work with her was... Like, do you credit it to her social game, or is it fortunate? It's probably both. It reminds me of, like, Matt or Riley leaving the game, telling Matt to work with Suri. Like, it was good on Suri to maintain that relationship, but it's kind of unfortunate that it happened for everyone else. What place do you see Angela getting? I think she's going to be in the final 3. She might get cut at 4. I think 4th or 3rd is my guess. I think it's like silly because you're like, okay, if she gets to top 3, she's obviously going to get to the finale, but Bowie Jane got to top 3. So maybe it'll be MJ taking Chelsie or Cam taking Chelsie, something like that. When does Chelsie start pushing MJ as a target? I think next week, and I think it's a big mistake. I think this could be Chelsea's undoing. If Chelsie targets MJ during the double, I think that's a really bad move. I think it's like... I understand it from the perspective of she's the biggest comp threat by far, and she's vulnerable this week. But I would keep MJ in as long as you can if I'm Chelsie. I guess the opposite perspective, though, is if you want to go all in on Cam, you can kind of just get rid of Chelsie here, or get rid of MJ here, because the comps become free at that point. You're in the final 5, and 3 of your competitors are Chemo, Rabina, and Angela. You guys will just win these endgame comps. Especially the final 3 ones. Like, it won't even be a contest. If I would understand if she wants to do that strategy of let's just get rid of MJ and Rabina and just win the last few comps, that's fine. I think she has to be a little bit wary. Is Cam 100% bringing her to the end? Because I think MJ is more likely to bring Chelsie to the end than Cam. Here's the thing about MJ, though, and this is why we hate double evictions. And we love double evictions, but here's why we hate them. She has a 1 in 2 chance of winning the veto. She's a 50-50 shot. You know what I mean? Based on precedent. They could change it. They changed a lot this season. But whatever this double eviction veto is going to be, it's going to be her or Cam who wins it. I think Cam has an edge because usually they're just brute force. And he's obviously such an athlete. And she's just very athletic. But if it's ball pit, which we assume it would be... No, I know. Benry, I think everyone's going to target. What I'm curious about is what if Chelsie wins HOH? Do we really think Chelsie goes after MJ? I think she might. Could Angela win the double HOH? 100%. It's going to be a quiz. Almost certainly. It'll be a quiz, and Angela's good at quizzes. But here's the danger now. It's fully over for Chelsie. Like, Chelsie can't be evicted in this double eviction. What's the path? I don't think there's a single set of comp outcomes where Angela could get rid of Chelsie. If it's Chelsie and Cam, everyone's voting out Cam. If it's Chelsie and MJ, everyone's voting out MJ. If it's Chelsie and one of the duo, Cam and MJ will vote out the duo. Do Chemo and Rabina still go after MJ and double? Even if, yeah, I don't think they care about that. I think MJ made it very clear that she's using the veto on Chemo to get rid of Leah and not to help Chemo. She did a very bad job with that. I don't know, Lola. I don't buy that. Honestly, maybe this is where Chemo and Rabina come alive, though. Remember those good old-fashioned AI arena days where they'd have to campaign super quickly and that's where they'd make their moves? Maybe in the heat of a double eviction, they catch that wind again. Is it a good move for most of them to get MJ out? No. We're at the point of the game where for every single person, and there's no exception, the correct move is to target Chelsie. For everybody. But if everyone knew that, it wouldn't be the best move. You know what I mean? Cam, Chelsea's closest ally, should target Chelsie. And take your chances after that. Chemo Rabina better put up Cam MJ if they win HOH, then just vote whichever stays on the block. I think that's the most likely outcome. They might just put up Angela to not piss somebody off. Taking out MJ or Cam severely wounds Chelsie. It's just like, y'all, we're at the final 6 after this week, once Leah's gone. We're at the final 6. We got to stop taking indirect shots. Do you think MJ could flip and try to keep Leah? No, because that would involve her admitting she was wrong, which she will never do. She will never do. And that would, like, she'd have to flip and then convince Cam to keep Leah. No, because Angela's off the block. You'd have to convince the trio, I suppose. You'd have to get Chemo and Rabina to keep Leah. No, this vote's over. If it was Leah versus Chemo, she'd have a shot. It'd be a very difficult campaign, but she'd have a shot. If you were Leah, what would your strategy be to try and stay? I would... I mean, you have to campaign for Chemo and Rabina's vote. I think that's the only path there. Campaign for Chemo and Rabina's vote, and then try to get in a confrontation in front of Leah. Or in front of Chelsie. Like, call out Chelsie for her lies, do a Humiliverse type thing, and hopefully that sways MJ. You know, like, she should go and say, everyone, Chelsea's the person to beat in this house. MJ, you've been lied to all week. Everyone views you as Chelsea's pawn, which MJ's not going to react well to, but again, we're trying to make something out of nothing here. I think she needs to go for Chemo and Rabina, have a big confrontation, calling out Chelsie. Earlier in the week, not on Thursday. No, it's the AC unit. I'm sorry. I'll lower the gain. This is not on me, y'all. I'm sorry. I think that's the move. Giesling traders, you're delusional. The whole premise of his trying to throw all the comps is already you're drawing dead. That is already a losing strategy, no matter what. He didn't try to throw every comp, that's wrong. You're right. He did try to win the Final Four veto, and he lost it. Pat, it is... So here's what I think they're doing. This is a number one recruit thing to say, the whole I want to sit next to a strong player, and it comes out of nowhere. Like Kyland, who was playing, very messy, but had some good moments. Gets to the end of the game and suddenly decides he wants to sit next to someone strong. It's a very, like, toxic masculinity type thing. And I think MJ weirdly has a bit of that, of, like, you know, she wants to, you know, be against a strong person. And the other thing is I think people are trying to speak that type of thing into existence because they know they want other people to take them as the strong person to sit next to. No, look, Benry, I agree. I'm not pro recruits. I think there's a lot of great recruits, and you should recruit some people because you're not going to get those people through casting, and we want to see them on our TVs. But I think 10 recruits is a lot. Like, I think, just for me, but, you know, I feel like I've been pretty consistent on that. You wear the shirt in the house? I did. Oh, no, they confiscated it before I went to the house. But I did bring it. Can you imagine our deep dive with MJ? I think MJ is going to go off the grid after. I think MJ is going to get a lot of hate, and she doesn't deserve hate. Like, MJ made a really dumb move. That's all. It was too busy, too many patterns. Look, I think today Angela's chances of winning Big Brother have gone up pretty substantially. I think if she gets to the end with Chemo, Rabina, or MJ, she stands a chance. With MJ, I think she wins. With Chemo or Rabina, I think she loses. But I think she stands a chance. Angela might be the worst winner ever. I would put her above Evil Dick. Well, I'll put her above Evil Dick. I think he's a horrible person. So, putting aside the strategy talk of it, I feel comfortable. Angela would be better than Jag. That's a stupid opinion. He had some agency. I think it's so hard to rate Dick's game because he played a different game of Big Brother than everyone else did. And he would have been evicted so clearly so many times, if not for things completely out of his control. MJ would have been evicted a few times, if not for AI arenas, but at least she's the one who went out and won those. Angela, say what you will, like she's played a normal Big Brother game. She's not getting helped by any big twists or anything like that. How was TwitchCon? It was alright. We'll talk more about it when I'm actually back, but it was alright. I don't think I would go again. Like, there's not much to do there. I met some people. It was cool. I will say, I think Rachel is just better than Angela, but I get what you're saying. Shut up, Lex. No, I get that, Nino, and I think there's a very small set of Big Brother players that can take game criticism and not take it personally. Because you have to understand that when you're criticizing somebody's game, you are kind of criticizing them as a person. Because when you're saying you're so dumb for making that move, it's not like we enter the game as a different person than we are outside. You know what I mean? So, like, I get, like, we have a right to criticize their game. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but her taking that personally makes a lot of sense. Like, I think I do a really good job of trying not to take things personally, but even then, it's hard. It's hard to not take it as, like, a testament to my intelligence or my strategic mind or whatever. I get what you're saying, Nick, but not in terms of win equity. When you're at the final, like, as you get further in the game, positioning matters less and win equity matters more. And I think she's got great positioning and terrible win equity. I don't even know how great her positioning would be. I think Angela winning would be fun. I think it would be very thematic. It'd be fitting. But that's on Kevin's win? Which one? Yeah, the whole narrative Angela got the veto used on her is bullshit. It's the same thing of Felicia surviving the block. Felicia survived the block by the grace of everybody else. Everything was happening around her. I kind of mean it when I say I'd give her zero credit for surviving the block most of the time she survived the block. She often acted directly against her own interest when she was on the block. Like, she's on the block during the Izzy flip, and she's ratting out the flip to Jared and Suri, which almost stopped the flip. She's on the block against Mimi, and she calls out Me in America, and by the grace of my stupidity, she stays. You know what I mean? I think Angela is a little bit less self-destructive when she's on the block, but she's so self-destructive outside of that context where it's like, what am I giving her credit for? She used her mustard seeds? True. Thoughts on Rabina's place in the game right now? I don't know. Look, I think the jury... I think Rabina's going to have a really tough time of winning. In a weird way, I think the jury likes and respects Chemo more than Rabina. But I do think Rabina has some better social relationships with the people left in the game now. Look, I think Rabina has to get to the end with Angela. I think that's her path. Angela, and then I think she beats MJ too. So she's got some paths. She really does. And these endgame comps, I don't want to count Rabina out, because we always clown on this trio, the T-Core, Chemo, Rabina trio, for being terrible. Rabina is on a different level to those two. Chemo and T-Core are really bad at comps. Rabina doesn't win them, but she's in the mix. Like, she could win something. You know what I mean? Who does Cam beat? I think Cam has a good shot against Chemo or Rabina. I think he stands a decent chance. He beats MJ and he beats Angela. I think he just loses to Chelsie. Chemo Rabina, I think he has a shot. I think I could see it going either way. No one beats Mackenzie if they aren't bitter. It's not... I don't think that's being bitter. Like, MJ's playing poorly, you know? Like, voting against Chelsie would be voting bitter. Which, again, it's your prerogative. You're allowed to vote bitter. But MJ has not played a good enough game for you to make a bitter jury argument. The only reason MJ would beat Cam, I think, is if there's the idea of, I want a woman to win this season. Cam is literal furniture. Yeah, but he's likable furniture, which is good. I don't see Chelsie or MJ going to jury saying Cam was part of the decisions, whereas T-Core will give Chemo and Rabina credit. Don't bank on T-Core campaigning in jury. She's not going to be... She was not playing, campaigning, swaying in the house. She's not going to be doing it in jury. She'll do it during the roundtable, and it won't matter. If MJ has 10 comp wins and Rabina has 2, how does Mackenzie lose? We're really doing count the comp wins in my chat? Come on. You might have to go over to TikTok Live, Keeson. Count the comp wins. MJ's going to be like, I have 8 comp wins. I won 2 AI arenas, an upgrade comp, 1 HOH, 2 vetoes, a battle of the block. I won a food comp in week 5, and a hacker comp. You know what I mean? It's very confusing this season how that works. And I won part 1 of the HOH, so, like, I didn't have a chance in part 2, but obviously I would have won that too, so it was almost unlucky because I didn't allow myself to win that comp because I won this comp. What resumes do any of these people have, bar Chelsie? This is not going to be a resume jury, I don't think. Outside of Chelsie, I think it'll just be who do you like more. And we'll see. The going on the block resume? Well, in this season, maybe. I really do think Angela has less jury chances than I'm even saying right now. Because I think T-Core just doesn't like her from the whole calling out all the black people working together angle. I think she's always held animosity towards that, which is very understandable. And obviously there's the stuff people can't talk about that Angela said, and who fucking knows what that is. But it was very, very telling to me that Quinn, in his exit interview, his biggest regret, all season, his biggest regret was not defending Lisa from Angela. You know what I mean? I think there's clearly stuff that we don't know. Or at the very least, perception in the house is Angela was not behaving appropriately there. So I really don't think Angela has much of a shot. Can you tell me Rogers is a bad player now? He is a bad player. Good week, though. We'll see how the Jets do. They look like a mediocre-ass team right now. There's literally multiple POCs saying they want a POC winner, so what are you saying, Keeson? What are you saying? Elaborate, because I don't think I agree with whatever you're saying. Do you think Tiffany's a better player than Chelsie? 1,000,000,000,000% yes. I think of the last four... I think since Big Brother 20, Cody's weird. I don't know how to evaluate Cody. From the post-22 seasons, I think Tiffany's the best player. And I'm not the biggest fan of Tiffany, but I think it's fair. I think the nature of the cookout made it so she wasn't going to win that season, and I understand that. But I do think just pure, raw Big Brother skill, I think she was the best. 100%. What are the odds that we get another returnee season soon? I don't think they're super likely. We just did 22, and it was a terrible season. Maybe they'll do like a 4-person returning. I hope they don't. I hope they just do newbies or returning players. What about Matt on your season? I mean, I think Tiffany's better than Matt. I would say Xavier's better than Matt. I would say Cerie's better than Matt. Chelsie, maybe? I don't know. Kyland. I wouldn't be opposed to the idea, but I think Matt played a cleaner game than Kyland. It's just hard to evaluate Matt because we know how much of an idiot he is, like, as a person, so how much credit do you give to his game? Cerie is greater than everyone since Cody. I think that's a weird take. Again, Cerie as a player, maybe her game was just not as impressive as she is as a player. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just evaluating what was there, it's really hard, I think, to make the case that Cerie was better than a Tiffany or a lot of players. Screwed to comp outcomes? I mean, yes and no. Like, what comp outcomes would have saved her final... Like, the second Jared lost Zombie Week. Like, you're telling me, like, Blue and Felicia and Matt had to comp out? Like, even with equitable comps, it's not likely. Like, she was kind of drawing dead no matter what. And, like, every season in Big Brother ever, she would have got down to the final 4, final 3, and had a very small chance of figuring it out. Matt said in finale he wanted Cerie final 2. Shut up. Like, here's the thing about Cerie, like, she was a victim of inequitable competitions the same way everyone was a victim of inequitable competitions, except for the 2 or 3 people on our season. But Cerie played an extremely active role in creating the world that she existed in. Like, she got rid of Heisem, she got rid of Red. She allowed Matt to use the power on Jag. And you could blame me the same way of like, oh, well, Cory, you flipped the house and put Jag and Matt in power, and that is very true, but also the other world was also not good for me. Like, Cerie, if she just maintained her power structure, it's almost impossible for her to lose the game. For me, it's like, okay, one way I might get fucked and might win, the other way I might get fucked and might win, and I'll choose this way. So I think, like, any criticism I get of handing the game to Matt and Jag, it's like, Cerie didn't hand the game to them in that flip, but she could have avoided it at several turns. Thank you, Wilk. I appreciate you. Thanks, Wilk. Yeah, I mean, she got rid of Heisem, and she got rid of Red. And look, this is my hot take. She also could have managed Jared better. Look, here's the thing. On a normal season, I'd say, hey, look, you have a crazy ally who's doing some crazy things. What are you going to do? That's your son. You know what I mean? Like, I don't put that on her, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm ever going to blame someone for the actions of their ally, it's the mom. You raised him. Not even that. Just, like, there's no, like, added level of complexity going on in your head of, like, is he playing me? Is he, like, you know. She tried. Look, it was a hard task. I understand that. It was a hard task. I don't think there's a way for Leah to stay. I've been thinking about it, and I think it's almost checkmate. I think she has to go after Chemo and Robina's vote and then make it very clear how anti-Chelsie she is and somehow flip MJ. And I think it's just hard. You would do anything for me, Mom? Mom, can I ask you a question? You've watched a ton of Big Brother seasons, so many of them. Who do you think you would play like? Who do you think is the closest person you'd emulate your game on? Because I think maybe you'd be like Karen from BB Can. Would be like a good... Because my dad would be Kevin Schluber. Michael Wurtenberger would play the Kevin Schluber game, 100%. Honestly, Mom, I think you would be like Angela, but less entertaining. You'd be extremely, extremely paranoid, but I think you would stew in it more than, yelling at people. You know what I mean? Not a Karen. I called her Karen. Because I do think my mom would you'd never, ever, ever play. My mom... watching me on, I watched her just while Zach was on the Survivor Island and we didn't get any updates or anything, and she was freaking out. If she was in the house herself, maybe she'd be freaking out less because it's your own stuff instead of your children. But I think she would probably be like Angela, but a little bit more introverted. Who would Zach play as? I think Zach would be really good at Big Brother, honestly. A lot better than me. I think Zach would play It's a good example. Maybe a Paul from BB-18, but no, Zach would be better. Steve, no. Zach would be a very social player. Zach would not have, need time to integrate into the house. He'd be a social butterfly. Tyler. Yeah, I mean, if you want to say Zach would be Tyler without the comp ability, maybe, but that obviously it's putting a lot of praise on Zach. He knows the game very well, and he's socially built for it. His battery would not run out in the same way mine would. He'd be like Heisem, maybe. Honestly, I think Zach would be a strategic version of Jag. But again, what does that even mean? Because Jag was not strategic and was no, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Is there someone you wanted to go in the house playing as? I think Kevin Jacobs was the... And I played a good Kevin Jacobs game for 3 weeks. I think you could tell that's what I was trying to do. So I think I succeeded in following my pre-game goals, but in terms of actually executing the game, no. Would Zach have gotten into showmance? I think there'd be a chance. He's a flirty guy. Where does Kevin rank with BBUS winners? I'd probably put him above Derek. He'd probably be it'd be Dan and then Cody and Kevin in some order for me. I think I'd probably put him just right behind Dan, to be honest. He only played one game, but that game was awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, Benry, I'm certain if I'm on the block with Kirsten at the end of that nomination cycle, I'm going home. I am certain of it, but who knows? How does Will continue to go down? I love Will. You have Cody over Derek? It's just hard. Cody played one game that was pretty good, and then Derek was much better than him. But then Cody went and dominated an All-Star season. And I get the pre-gaming part, but a lot of people were pre-gaming, and he dominated that season in a way that very few players have dominated any season. Here's what I will say. I think in terms of modern Big Brother, Cody's the GOAT. And I don't mean that in terms of I think Cody's the best player to ever play Big Brother. Absolutely not. I don't think that for 1 second. But the way modern Big Brother is built with the way that casting works and the way that competitions are, I think Cody on like a new player season where no one knows who's who. I'd bet on Cody before Dan or Will. You know what I mean? He never faced any adversity on either season. So that's the thing about Cody, right? He never faced adversity, but I think over a 2-season sample size, you have to start looking at that as a credit to him as opposed to a knock against his game. You know what I mean? He struggles with adversity, IMO. I believe that too. When he was losing some ground to Tyler in 22, it flipped really bad. But like I can't hold it against him as strongly as I can Derek because he's done it twice, where he gets to the end with no adversity. Like that's pretty crazy. And there's an element of it. You're a straight white comp beast who's handsome. Like that is a thing. Of course, it's all part of the rich tapestry. But you know. Committee winning every comp is luck, not good gameplay. It really isn't luck. Like, look at that alliance. Who the fuck else was going to win competitions? Like, what do you, it was like Memphis, Tyler, Cody, Danielle. Like, what do you, Christmas? Like, who the fuck was winning comps that season? You know what I mean? It was very similar to BB16. Very similar. Where, like, BB16, it was like, all right, well, Derek got lucky. All of his allies kept winning. His allies were Cody, Frankie, Caleb. Like, shit, what did you want to happen? The committee was all the white people. Here's what I'll say, Benry, about that. Blame Memphis. Cody didn't think the committee was real until Memphis and Christmas started winning a ton of HOHs. That's on Memphis. I just don't see how Derek with less body of work is greater than Will. I really don't rate Will's BB2 game as anything, really. Like it shows a good social game somewhat, but he also had a bad social game. And strategically, it's just how the fuck do you evaluate that season? So I'm really judging his BB7 game against Derek's BB16 game. And then I sprinkle in, he also won a season before. Like, Will does not have a huge body of work because BB2 is BB2. And that's why he was an icon of the series. He won BB2. No, I'm saying, like, this is the thing about MJ. Like, I think everyone is under the impression that MJ is not self-interested. She's absolutely self-interested. She's super self-interested. She just is not aware of her position or what the right self-interested move is. And it sucks to watch. But she's self-interested. I promise that. Like, she wants to do what's best for her game. She just has no idea what that is. Wait, so Giesling Traders, you're saying it's impressive for someone to come in and dominate an all-star cast? That's what you're saying? So you have Cody above Will, right? Because obviously the BB22 cast was way better than the BB7 cast. I'm sure you'd agree with that. You have BB2 is greater than BB16. I've never banned someone for Big Brother opinions, but I've also never considered it this much. You know what I mean? My double eviction predictions. I think the most likely outcome for this double eviction is... I think it's going to be like Cam, Chemo, Rabina, someone like that. Honestly, if it's knowing us, it's going to be Chelsie, which is going to be awesome because if Chelsie has to get rid of MJ, that'd be hilarious. I think we're likely to get a Chemo or Rabina winning a quiz, putting up MJ and Cam or MJ and Angela. Probably MJ and Angela, honestly. And then Cam winning the veto, not using it, and MJ going. I think that's the most likely outcome. Cam wins the veto, I'll lock in right now. That's my prediction there. HOH being a quiz, it's really tough to say. I don't think Quinn will be surprised. I think from Quinn's perspective, Leah's on the bottom and made this big move to get rid of T-Core. I think he'll be surprised to see it was MJ. All right, I gotta go, y'all. I have to use the restroom, and I've had to for like an hour now. But I appreciate all of you. I'm going to be back in Nashville tomorrow. We'll do our normal Tuesday stream, player rankings, all of that. I've got some other podcasts lined up, which will be fun. We have a live feed update Wednesday. Double Eviction Watch Party Thursday on the Patreon. A lot of exciting stuff. So I appreciate you guys. No Florida. No, I'm going straight to Nashville. It just works out better. I will be live tomorrow. What happened to Florida? We were just having DMV problems. We can't get an appointment, and the walk-ins are not reliable. So, odds are I'd fly to Florida and then go to the DMV and not even be able to do anything. I just have to fly back. It's just not worth it. I have to study for there's so many things I have to do. Regardless, I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you guys soon.